Greetings, denizens of Danville, tri-state area. Jacob Weil here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And Dragon, I know what we're going to do today. We're going to activate the Recap-inator and discuss my favorite cartoon, Phineas and Ferb. That's right, in honor of the 15th anniversary and in preparation for the upcoming revival, I'm guiding Blue Dragon 5 here through the series, experiencing his reactions, watching it for the first time, and reliving my summer memories throughout the years. Today's episode is The Chronicles of Meap. The Dragon, how you feeling on this one?
I mean, this is an interesting one. It almost feels like a Freakazoid kind of premise to some degree. I know we usually wait till we get into the episodes to make those comparisons, but I just mean the way this episode's presented, it very much just feels like we're presenting a false episode of sorts, like a movie within a movie of sorts,
Yeah, it does kind of make it interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting wraparound. I mean, there's no actual background to explain as to why they made it like that, probably just for the sake of comedy.
For comedy purposes.
Yes. For comedy purposes, absolutely. Which is like one of the only legitimately funny moments in that show.
I mean, after all, this is the prelude to Meapless in Seattle, I mean, this is a big deal.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, this essentially is You've Got Meap.
That would be a good alternate name. That'd be a good name for one of these episodes. For an episode starring Meap.
Yep.
All right. The funny thing is this episode was originally only planned to be an 11-minute episode. But Dan and Swampy enjoyed the idea. They asked to have it expanded.
Sounds like they had some carte blanche going into season 2.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I just mean like, okay, well, we have 11-minute episodes. You know what? We want a full episode for this. Network, can we do it? Yes.
I mean, I'm not sure the network always explicitly prohibited 11-minute, prohibited 12-minute, maybe 22-minute episodes, but it's entirely possible there.
I mean, for all we know, it might have worked out like, okay, you have this amount of time for your season, use it how you choose. It's probably how it actually worked.
Most likely. But if you noticed, the first thing you probably heard was a very familiar voice in the beginning, right, Dragon?
Yes.
The one and only Don LaFontaine.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you make of him appearing in this episode?
Well, I got to be honest. I was more, captivated by how we reused him at the end. But yeah, he was great.
Yep, hearing him in this it actually was interesting, and technically this is his final television appearance. This is his final voiceover role.
Get out of here! Really?
Yep, this is apparently one of the very last things he ever recorded.
Do you ever see that movie? I'm trying to remember. I think it was just called In a World.
No, I haven't seen.
It was kind of a meta take on him. Had
Code Geass is confirming if this is his last acting role.
Right.
But go on.
Yeah, there's this. There was this good movie with the actress who portrays Poison Ivy on the Harley Quinn show.
Lake Bell, you mean?
Lake Bell, yes. It starred Lake Bell, and I forget if there was I think it's called In a World. I think it's what the movie's called. It has
I think you're right because I was looking him up earlier.
It's got Ken Marino in it, and I'm blanking on the actor who basically is the fill-in for Don LaFontaine.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's that guy's great. Fred Melamed. That's the guy's name. Fred Melamed played essentially the Don LaFontaine role, who's basically his daughter wants to usurp his role of being the In a World narrator voice.
Yeah, the funny thing is, part of his dialogue was apparently needed to be redone, but his health was actually declining.
I've heard about that happening one other time.
So someone named Wes, so a voice actor by the name of Wes Johnson actually partially re-recorded a bit of his part.
Wonder if that was the ending. Maybe that's why the ending was brief.
No idea, but they did actually get him to say the whole "in a world" line.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you might not, you may have noticed something. As I said, this is his final voice acting role. But
Yeah.
like, if you notice, like the episode that you watched didn't have a memorial, right? Didn't have a memorial on it. But the original version that aired had this: In Memoriam Don LaFontaine.
Oh, that's nice. That's a shame it wasn't on the Disney Plus version.
Yep. But I had the version of it on iTunes, and I could swear in the version that I had this was in there as well. So
That's
I don't
weird.
know. I don't know why it's lacking in all the other versions, but when this first aired, it did have the memoriam to Don LaFontaine.
Yeah, I mean, two instances that come to mind with the LaFontaine thing is one reminds me of the Jack Kirby tribute in Superman the Animated Series, just the thing you just kind of threw up there. The other thing too is Don Messick. I'm pretty sure it was Don Messick. Andrea Romano directed Don Messick in essentially his last role. And I forget if he died during the session or not, or basically he's basically in the process of dying during the session. It's horrifying.
Of Superman?
No, not sorry. Andrea Romano was working on the Jetsons movie with Don Messick.
Oh.
Sorry, I know it was like two separate things. I'm just saying, I was bringing up the Jack Kirby thing from Superman in terms of like a little in memoriam kind of tribute at the end. But no, the other thing was when they were recording the Jetsons movie, Don Messick was not sounding good. I believe it was Don Messick. And Andrea Romano was really she was having a difficult time with him, and I believe he had like an attack there in the studio. I don't know if that was like literally, that was the one that did him in, or it was like he was just very bad towards the end. But yeah,
it's really sad actually.
I know. Yeah, it was horrible.
I mean, he did so many iconic voices too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, most famously Scooby Doo.
Oh yeah.
And the other one I'm familiar with is Hampton from Tiny Toons.
Yep.
All right. Unfortunately, though.
Oh, okay. No, so that's okay. Yeah, that's it. I kept going with Don Messick. It wasn't Don Messick. It was Giorgio Hanlon, the voice of George Jetson. Thank you, Code Geass. Thank you. Yes, that was even worse. Oh God, that's just the absolute. She basically confirmed it. Yes, he died with his boots on. Essentially, died. At the mic.
That is sad.
That is it. Oh God, yeah, I forgot too. Because here's the thing. I always thought it was George Jetson. I kind of correct myself. No, it probably wasn't George Jetson. It was probably Don Messick. But no, oh God, that's we lost two Georges that day.
Yeah, that is sad.
Yeah.
All right, should we get onto the episode then?
Yeah, let's do it. This is sounding so sad. We gotta brighten things up. We gotta talk about Bangaroos.
Yes. First, before we get to Bangaroos, let's get to another B: books and baseball. So the boys are playing their like customizable baseball game where like shoot the baseball out of a glove and then remote control it. Which I think is a pretty neat idea.
I mean, I loved it.
Yeah, I did too. Like, I don't know what kind of practical purpose it serves other than just being fun, but
it's the lazy man's catch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, lazy in terms of maybe not in terms of building it, but definitely the actual playing it. But either way, it does look like it would be pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
It's like, and of course, this leads to them accidentally firing one of their balls into space.
Again, moral of the story, kids, is like don't just if we learn nothing from the Richard Donner Superman movie, it's like don't just throw missiles into space. You're going to unleash Phantom Zone criminals. I don't care how the Richard Lester cut Superman 2 opens. That's what happened. Just don't go firing things into space, whether it be balls or missiles or what have you. Just nothing good's going to come from it.
As Phineas points out when the ship crashed, like we may have just stopped and/or started an alien invasion.
This is really cute. Just Phineas like, I know we're going to do that. Run for our lives.
Yep.
Now they've been waiting to do something like that for a season now.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if that was like one of something they were planning on for a while. But yeah, honestly though, that does make sense.
Hey, let me ask you something silly. All right, I know the answer to this, but it's just to pose it here. Do
Yeah.
you think the voice actor on Ferb, do you think it's like a big deal where he comes in for his line, even if obviously they put him in after the fact and probably record him separately? Can you imagine if it was a thing where they're in the same room? It's like, okay, time for the drama king to come in. He's going to show up and say his line. He's going to be out of there, but we got to be here for it. He's going to show up. He's going to say his line, and then he's going to be out.
Well, that would be funny, but
Obviously, it's not at all how they do it, but it's a fun thought.
All the characters are actually recorded separately.
Of course.
And Ferb's actor, Thomas Sangster, recorded his dialogue in Britain.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I mean, Vincent and Thomas didn't even meet until like a couple of years after the show had officially begun anyway. But they did actually meet in person.
Of course, they'd have like this Butch and Sundance moment of like, brother?
I'm not actually sure of the meeting. Unfortunately, I didn't ask that when I met with Vincent at GalaxyCon.
I should have asked him to hug me, brother moment.
I did, but I was more focused on like some of the upcoming stuff, and like we had another conversation like what our favorite stuff was regarding the show and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is standard conversation stuff.
All right. So they've crashed a cool looking alien spaceship in their backyard. Meanwhile, Candace books.
She's like, boring, dull, boring, lame, heavy-headed, and derivative.
So she's judging books by their cut. Very, very not just happens to be the theme. I mean, literally, she's just like a bunch of books laying out on a coffee table. Judge. And Linda comes in. Oh, Candace can't judge a book by its cover. Really? Why did you buy these books, Mom? Fair point. I love that gag. It's a great joke.
It is a great joke. Especially considering she said that reveals the books you haven't even read. Like, Uncode Diaz is I can confirm this. You are right. Ferb will have a different voice in the revival. It's the one who took over for him in the movie.
Yep.
In the second movie, I mean, in Candace Against the Universe. It was actually at GalaxyCon with Vincent. But I've already told that story. So he's like, but Candace...
If he met him, he'd say, imposter!
But Candace, meanwhile, got a package in the mail for a bangaroo.
Now, Linda initially is frightened by this concept until it is exposited at length what the heck a bangaroo is.
Yep. And even then, I'm still not entirely sure what a bangaroo is supposed to be.
You know, it's funny. I think it's somewhat of a takeoff of the Kim Possible idea. What were they, cuddle buddies? Like, do you remember what they were called in Kim Possible?
Yeah, they were cuddle buddies.
Okay, so it was Cuddle Buddy. That's what they were called.
Yeah, and Dee and Amy, who wanted to make real life cuddle buddies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the idea these are like kind of, I know these are spliced animals, but that's the thing. All the cuddle bunnies were spliced animals, which informed all of DNA. Like, was Dee and Amy just a fan, or did she like work at the factory that made those cuddle buddies?
I think she was just a fan, and then
I think you're right about that.
From what I remember, I haven't seen the show seen that episode like probably about a year or so, but since I rewatched the series. And I think what happened. I think what she was just like a geneticist who was a big fan, and just wanted to create her own real life cuddle buddies.
It's funny. It's just a really boring version, boring but still probably funny version of the episode where Dana was just a seamstress and just made a whole bunch of like her own off brand ones. Like it's like a take of a whole Beanie Baby thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So we have a kind of a takeoff of the cuddle buddies to some degree here. The bangaroos, which are spliced animal hybrids, which from a distance is horrifying, but we're seeing it here. We saw it in that Muppet movie once. We had figs, so it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Well, Stacy's seemed relatively normal.
Well, yeah, that thing, hers was fine, but not some of them. Like the cow and the frog.
Candace's was horrifying.
See, if it were a pig and a frog, it would have been fine. Cow and a frog, unholy. Senor Frog.
Yes.
Desolation of Frog.
Yeah, but and of course they're both getting ready for the Bangaroo convention.
Yeah.
Which seemed like a pretty nice convention. I've never been.
Funny the timing on this. You've left a convention. I'm about to head off to a convention.
Oh, is that what? Oh, nice.
Yes.
It's like, who's going to be at the convention?
Well, I'm not going to go through all the attendees right now, Jacob, but let's say Steve Rude, a good artist, Brian Michael Bendis,
Ooh.
the incomparable Scott Snyder,
Ooh.
and a big one, Jeff Johns.
Oh, nice. They got a lot of heavy hitters.
There you go.
And technically, I got back from a concert, not a convention.
What? Oh, right. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right, but still, it's a con in the name, so you know.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Well, plus, I mean, you got back from GalaxyCon recently, as you just mentioned. So I mean, it was this year. So, I don't know. The point being, cons and concerts are like we've been going, coming and going.
It's a common thread.
There you go. Anyway, so Bangaroo-con.
Yes, it's like after basically Candace comes out inside and sees the wreckage, and doesn't understand what's going on. But honestly, this is the one time she doesn't try to call Mom. She instead just tells him to clean up the mess.
Well, she's got a con to go to. She doesn't have time for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, see, I told you she knows how to prioritize. Like, there are things she puts above busting.
Yep.
But of course, she sees Meap and immediately starts fawning over him.
Yeah, so this little Meap character, adorable, and as we're going to learn, very Stitch-like.
Yep. So that's what pops out of the ship that they crashed earlier. Is Meap. He's a short little white creature with big blue eyes and a pink, as the credits reveal, pink helmet or pink headgear. He's adorable. You can only say Meap. Meap. And you know how it did say that Lorenzo Lamas in the beginning provided the voice of Meap?
Mm-hmm.
He also did the Meeps as well.
Well, that's good.
Yep. They not only did he provide this speaking voice at the end of the episode, he actually did all the Meeps. Meep. That was actually him doing that. So, all right. So basically, a little bit of early foreshadowing here when she says I bust people who do stuff they're not supposed to do, but that's why he warms up to Candace. It's actually a pretty good bit of foreshadowing there.
Yeah.
And so what do you think of the early reveals and stuff, like him with the rain, spinning the rainbows and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I knew there was something. I knew that thing couldn't possibly be his dad, because it was obviously a mugshot.
Yeah, well, that's Phineas the kind of optimist for you.
Yep.
It's it is kind of obvious that some. I mean, even with the little symbols underneath him, what we know now to be Mitch, he kind of does is that kind of like a mugshot or something?
So yeah, we go to the con, and we have the guards who take their job very seriously. Which I'm going to tell you, convention guards, this convention help and staff, they're all volunteers, and they never care that much. Never. They're guys in t-shirts.
You're more of a con. You're more of a con man than I am, Dragon. What's your overall What makes you say that the guards don't care this much?
No, I mean these guards are the exception to that because I don't. I mean, they're at least in costume and everything. But I'm saying ordinarily, convention helpers, they. See, at the Comic-Con, I give them nicknames based on what color shirts they're wearing. My favorite being the red shirts. Because they're unhelpful and you kind of want them to get blown away.
Oh no.
Then they have they were in lime green one year, the limeys, the yellow bellies, the pinkos,
dang,
the purple nurples.
Man, a lot of creative names here.
Technically, the real name is Minion. They kind of added the moniker of Minions. It makes it easier. So essentially, the Minions. Yeah. Point being, they're not really helpful. They're not getting paid for this at all. They kind of occasionally give a crap, and they'll help you out, but they don't really know. No one knows what's going on. No one really cares. Anyway, so we have these guards.
It's like they find Meap thinks he sees Mitch again. Some foreshadowing. And they find him, and it's is this your doll? Yes. Your responsibility makes our job 1,000,000 times harder. Someone could have stolen it or tipped over it. That's right. Injuries, lawsuits, stolen property, even death.
You could have killed me.
Me too. We're lucky to be alive. Yeah, you're in big trouble.
It's funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
It was in the costumes get vaporized by the rainbow.
Yep.
Taste the rainbow.
It's like, oh yeah. And apparently, it's like, you know, it is kind of like a callback to the song earlier, which we will get to. Like, and this is another episode that had a DVD commentary for them on the Across the Second Dimension DVD with Dan and Swampy providing commentary.
Well, this one makes sense. They went out of their way to do like a full episode on it.
Yeah, and they said that they missed an opportunity to call back the joke from earlier with that one. Because during the song, you have Buford and Buford. So let's never speak of this again. Agreed. And they forgot, and they said like they missed an opportunity to do a callback there.
Yep.
You were saying? Sorry.
Throw up the banner, Jacob. Let's of the creator. Let's address the creators. Dan, Swampy, very astute point, criticizing yourselves like that. You know what? I can respect that, gentlemen. Okay.
Right. It's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to get to next in this one?
Let's see. So let me tell you, the problem spot of the episode for me is the crossover between Perry the Platypus and the Meap stuff. I think is the weakest part of the episode, but it is funny the initial weirded out kind of expression on Perry's face.
It's like you mean like Perry interacting with Meap?
Yeah, like the initial Meap, and he's just looking. He can't do anything, just making the sound, and then eventually when he puts the hat on, he's looking like, oh, what was with that guy?
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
And then honestly, the monogram stuff, the little shenanigans with Carl, it's like, silly, but it's like, we're trying a little too hard.
Like doing the arms and with monogram and everything. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
It's like, he's a bad man. He's this bad.
Working on his improv skills, that monogram.
Yep. I said they really start developing more of their personalities in this season. And this is like an early instance of kind of like Carl and Monogram developing more of a bond.
Oh yeah.
But meanwhile, Doofenshmirtz has bought up all kinds of carpets and stuff like that, which leads to the jingle. One of the new jingles.
Doofenshmirtz, evil is carpeted.
Yes. So everything is completely covered, and Dragon. So what'd you make of all this?
Okay, so in all honesty, I think we peaked early with the Doofenshmirtz story. I think him laying out the plan was better than just seeing it enacted. Okay, because I think this rationale is just priceless, and it's. Tell me the commentary they were cracking up at this, weren't they?
Oh yeah.
Good.
So what I remember, the idea was to have they really wanted to have an episode where a backstory. They just keep escalating into further backstories.
It's essentially Doofenshmirtz. They say, "Why am I listing so many questions?" So we get the pathetic backstory.
Yep.
The most layered backstory yet. So, but long story short, his parents disowned him, and he was raised by ocelots, so he reeked of ham that he was forced to eat by the ocelots, and he created a new best friend, which is a balloon named Balloony. He drew a very human-looking face on.
Very creepy-looking face.
Yep, and he sprayed some long-lasting balloon spray on it.
I think one of the funnier things in the whole backstory is, and one of the other parts of the backstory is the only money you could get at the carnival was working at the dunk tank.
Or he was tossed. He was not the person being dunked, which would help the ham smell.
He was what they threw to dunk him.
Oh yeah.
It's like Drusselstein is a very messed up place.
And then we go for oh god, this almost feels like a desperate move because this is one of the funny backstory gags we keep going back to, but I'm not complaining. The way in which Doofenshmirtz lost Balloony.
Didn't I tell you the gnome would be back?
Oh, you did indeed. So when
I remember when it was brought up previously, you didn't really care for it that much, but I did tell you it'd be used to greater effect in a future episode.
No, I think I like the gnome thing. I like the gnomes, period. I don't know.
I know, but yeah, But yeah, as a lawn gnome, like he tried. Balloony started to fly away, which apparently in this case he was readopted by his parents after being disowned by them.
It's a long cycle with the Doofenshmirtz family.
long messed up family history.
Yep.
And due to the fact that he couldn't he wanted to reach back and grab Balloony but couldn't because his father didn't want him to move.
Nope.
And thus Balloony was lost.
Forever.
Or so we think.
Oh yeah. So he's basically on a crusade to basically attract the balloon back to him with a giant. Sorry, I just want to get the static electro amplify-inator.
Amplify-inator, I think that's what it was.
Amplify-inator, and he's wearing a sock suit.
The Saki Shaki suit, as he called it.
God.
Basically covering himself in all kinds of socks and fabric and stuff to generate enough static electricity to attract all the balloons in the entire tri-state area.
Second to that toilet video, probably the most ridiculous he's ever looked.
So, what are you saying? This is more ridiculous or less ridiculous?
I said second to that, so I think the toilet video is still probably up there, but it's like him wearing all socks.
Sadly, and I don't know. Sadly enough, that episode's not the last time we see Doof in his underwear.
Oh God!
I said, sadly enough.
Poor Vanessa.
Fortunately, I don't think she's present at any of these times.
Thank God.
Yep.
My heart goes out to that poor girl.
She gets us. She'll be fine.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, the boys get to fixing the ship.
Speaking of Vanessa.
Yep. But we'll get to that part, Dragon. It's the boys that are fixing the ship. And what did you think of the whole gadget that Phineas used to lower Ferb under the ship?
I mean, it's funny, but also feels completely pointless.
Kind of, yeah. Basically, just to get some slapstick in on poor Ferb.
Yeah, it's like, Phineas, you don't have to show off now. Okay, just use an actual jack or lift or whatever they call that. Come on, man.
he's waiting. Isabella comes in. He's like, woof, 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 and he's like, and then just unintentionally smacks Ferb away.
Yep.
Poor Ferb gets a lot of slapstick in this episode, including smacking himself in the head with a wrench. But he definitely makes up for it, which we'll get into.
Oh yeah.
Isabella comes in and immediately gets jealous as to Phineas calling Meap so cute.
She's got a patent on cute, man.
Yeah, she doesn't want Phineas to think anyone else is cute. Apparently. Jealous. Basically, an early instance of her getting jealous.
Oh yeah.
So let's not delay it any longer, Dragon. What do you think of the ride from outer space?
I love everything about this.
Oh yeah.
I love the song. I love the vehicle design. I love the Ferb's driving it, and most of all, I love that he gets that look from Vanessa.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
This is one of the most famous moments in the entire show.
You digging my ride from outer space. Oh, it was perfect.
It's one of the defining moments in Ferb's character.
I mean, I was tempted to go with that. I'm not gonna lie, I was tempted, but the Meap wasn't in the image. So,
I mean, I was definitely tempted too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you notice, if you've ever noticed, that was actually I use that as my avatar occasionally on StreamYard.
I think occasionally. I think I've seen it. Now I know what that is, but I guess there you go.
Yep, it's definitely one of Ferb's finest moments.
It's a little Fantasticar-esque.
Yes. But I mean the overall design of the car, tricked out, and didn't I tell you'd see the Shooting Star milkshake bar again?
Oh yeah, you did, and it looks great.
Yep. I don't know if the milkshake was free, but they're owners, so who knows?
A little sign there. These people drink for free.
These boys own the bar.
Yep, they own the bar. The girl, it depends on what mood we're in.
But yep, even Vanessa's impressed by his ride from outer space.
Oh yeah.
And of course, You're digging my ride from outer space.
Great. Love it.
It's like, I mean, I think I can go on and on about that whole song, that whole sequence, and everything.
We have comments.
Yes. Carl deserves to be promoted to the
unemployment line.
Yeah. If Herb and Vanessa ever get married, that would make Doofenshmirtz the father-in-law.
I'm down for that.
And what's the age difference between Ferb and Vanessa?
It's a question best left unasked.
From what I understand, like Vanessa's in high school and Phineas and Ferb are like in elementary school.
How old's Candace?
15.
I think it's about 15.
I mean, at the very most, there's at least like a 6 or so year difference.
Like, what's the oldest you can be in elementary school?
Like 9 or 10 years old.
It's 5 years. I mean, look, it could be worse. It's not, at least not going the other way. So that's.
I mean, and by the time they would hook up, they would probably both be old enough to.
Yeah, it's in the future too. It's at least fine.
Yeah, so like an age difference of 5 years really isn't that bad.
Yeah, the seeds are planted.
Yes, I mean he's clearly interested. He definitely Ferb likes older women.
Who wouldn't be? I mean, look, Vanessa, man, come on.
You have a thing for Vanessa's, huh?
Yeah, it seems I do. It's just I don't know. It's just unreal. I like good Vanessas, and so far it's like 3 in a row. I mean, you got Vanessa. You got Vanessa from Deadpool. You got Vanessa from Daredevil, and now you got Vanessa from Phineas and Ferb. 3. It's a trifecta so far.
Yep, all different kinds of Vanessas too.
Yep.
and you've also counted there's the Vanessa from Little Mermaid, but that's a villainous Vanessa.
Right.
But that's besides the point. It's like, so Candace gets banned from the Bangaroo convention. Or it's like, you can't ban me from there. I ban myself. And then, of course, she comes to the realization after Phineas told her earlier, it's like, you're a real-life alien.
So then we have our act break in which the boys get kidnapped in their spaceship, believing that Meap is on board. It's Meap ship.
It's like, and I love Ferb's line. It's like, it occurs to me that perhaps not all the modifications I made are technically street legal.
Yep.
I mean, that's basically like a dress. So, if you haven't noticed, this episode's also filled to the brim with various like sci-fi references, most of all Star Wars.
Yeah, they're building to something like Jacob. Throw up the creator one.
Okay, banner time.
Dan, Swampy, I saw what you did there. I understood those references. I know where you're leading. You're leading us to a galaxy, far, far away, right there, my friends. I see the track you're laying there.
Keep in mind, this episode did come out 3 years before they bought Lucasfilm.
I know, but they're whispering in the Big Mouth series, like, come on, guys. It's like you have the one ride. Just go for it. Go for the plunge. Come on, Bob. Just go for it, man. Bob Iger wearing like the mouse ears. It's really what it is. It's him wearing like Bob like on the front of him.
Aren't the names usually on the back though?
Wait, are they?
Yes.
What sense does that make? Why would they be on the back?
I think because there's usually an emblem on the front.
It still sounds like you would want to read the name. It's like, hey, that is who this is, and this is their hat.
I don't know, Dragon. I don't do the embroidery.
I could get Disney marketing on the phone. I have complaints.
Yeah, let me get right on that.
Okay, we'll wait. Kidding. So, gonna move on from there.
Yes. So Candace is revealed to the fact that Meap is the one that abducted them is not his father, but in fact an intergalactic criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Who we learned is named, but who goes by many names.
The most prominent, Mitch. Or Big Mitch.
A comedian, an English comedian by the name of David Mitchell voiced him.
I have a theory for. I mean, look, honestly, I think the real answer is what you just laid out. It's probably what they were thinking, but I have a very interconnected Pavenmeyer thing here.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I forget if he worked on this. He probably didn't work on this episode, but in Rocko's Modern Life, the Christmas episode, a big plot point is they want it to snow.
What's the name of the episode?
God,
Because I can look it up.
it should be in season 2 or 3. It's the something about cheese logs. Something about it's making fun of it. It's kind of a snarky holiday title.
Is it Rocco's Modern Christmas?
That's probably it then. Yeah.
Can't squeeze cheer from a cheese log.
That's the one. Yeah. So in that episode, yeah. So he's not. I'm going to assume he's not involved in that, is he?
Yeah, he's not listed in the writing team.
Oh well. Anyway,
one of the writers, like Martin Olson, one of the writers for this show is. But
okay. Well, maybe there's something there. All right. So, point being, in that episode, there is a plot point where they want it to snow, and there's only been one elf because elves move in next to Rocco. Only one elf was able to make it snow. The greatest elf of all, Mitch. Mitch basically had 3 legs. He made it snow, and we lost him. How'd you lose him? In a blizzard. So Mitch had a big old mustache, exactly like the mustache in here, and he had kind of like an accent to like, "No, Daddy." It's like Mitch, there you are, like, "Hello, Daddy."
That is an interesting connection.
No, it's the fact. Look, I wouldn't bring it up if it wasn't like the name Mitch, and he had like the big mustache.
I mean, to be fair though, that is like a standard cartoon mustache.
True, but I mean, if you did a side by side with those long mustaches, I tell you, man.
I mean, I don't doubt it, Dragon. I just don't know if it actually is.
No. I'm not Oliver Stone here. I'm not trying to like connect dots or like say Mitch killed Kennedy. I'm just saying,
Fair enough.
So, regardless.
But either way, they find out the truth about Mitch. He's an intergalactic poacher.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
Speaking of Superman, reminds me a little bit of the Preserver, which is where Superman got his intergalactic zoo from.
It kind of reminds me of like. Also, it kind of reminds me of the episode where he met Lobo in animated series.
Well, that's the same one, Jacob.
Oh.
He meets Lobo in part 1, and Lobo takes him to the Preserver, and basically they both get put in exhibits in the Preserver's like space lair.
Yeah, I forgot it.
Of course, like a year later, essentially, it was like the Brainiac was going to be the answer. Okay, so Brainiac's got a menagerie, and that's essentially where we get all the animals in the Fortress of Solitude.
All right.
Anyway, so yeah, he's an intergalactic poacher.
Yep, collecting all kinds of interesting creatures and monsters and alien monsters. We never actually get to see them freed, but we can assume upon his defeat that they're set free.
Yep.
But they seem to be doing fine there. I mean, Phineas, Ferb, and Isabella, they just go around like having fun with the alien landscape and everything.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, Candace and Meap are brainstorming how to get up to the ship, and obviously Candace is having trouble understanding Meap because all he can say is Meap. It's like, oh, I get it. You're trying to tell me something. And he's just like,
All right, so a few of our sci-fi references we do get here, as far as Star Wars goes, is that's no cloud.
That's a space station.
And I have a good feeling about this.
Which is, of course, is from Star Wars. Like, I got a bad feeling about this.
We have a third one that's coming later, but I guess we can. I am not your father.
And also, not to mention I have you now.
Oh yeah, and then we have the ET bike. We have like the Amblin bike, essentially. Like they use the balls in the bike to get from point A to point B.
Which I thought was a pretty nice. Even the music almost seems a bit similar to ET from that scene.
Oh yeah,
you can definitely tell they were channeling it for that.
One could say they got a memo.
Honestly, I'm not sure if Steven even knows that this show exists.
Well, much like the people get the memo. Who are you people?
Where were we? that entire episode, the entire plot of that episode got derailed because of that one joke.
I love that so much.
I mean, I do too. It's hilarious, but it's just funny to think. But then
You know what's even funnier about it? It's just the fact that they knew in that episode. If you rewatch the Freakazoid, it's basically it's a Godfather parody. It's what's called the Freakazoid. That one, because it's a Godfather parody, it doesn't have any legs to stand on because obviously they can't do like the Godfather. So they only have so many gags in the episodes. They have to pad it, and the way they pad it is with that whole tangent, and then like this really hilariously sell out chase of like, can you drive around in the Freakmobile? It'll really help us out with marketing, if you know what I mean. Okay. And he gets in the car. It's like they're padding the episode out. It's hilarious.
It's always funny when they can make jokes out of that stuff.
Oh, we have like a whole Aaron Neville like song sequence, really a parody of Aaron Neville, like I love your Christmas album. It's great.
Oh God, and that entire episode's nuts.
It is.
Anyway,
all right, let's see. They literally have. I'm sorry. Let's just much like that. Let's just derail this one entirely. Let's just talk about that Freakazoid. So we have this moment where on the screen, Cosgrove, he says, "I'm wearing I'm not wearing socks, or I'm wearing like orange socks or something." And it's like on the screen it flashes not an important detail versus the exposition, which is all the superheroes at a convention on the moon. Important detail. Okay, no, and also let's get back to it. Let's talk about Mitch and his love affair with Colin.
Yep. The dragon. Who is it? First off, before we get to Colin, we need to figure out we need to talk about how Doofenshmirtz's plan worked.
Well, let's see. He shot the beam.
Like he got himself all charged up with static electricity, and activated and grabbed onto it, which was actually pretty painful with the way he was like going like.
I gotta be honest, this is where the episode loses steam for me on the Doofenshmirtz side. I think just feels like, I don't know, we're really contriving a way for Doofenshmirtz to cross over into the other plot this episode because it's a big episode versus just did not have a lot of legs to it.
It's like even the balloons all get pulled from children and clowns and clown children, and it basically pulls them all into the sky.
Oh yeah,
it's like on paper, this is the result too. It's like, and it crashes into what seems to be Meap and Mitch's initial battle, and we finally get to meet Balloony.
Or Colin.
Yes, Mitch apparently found Balloony and named him Colin. That's an interesting detail, isn't it?
Of all the names to give the balloon, Colin.
Well, to be fair, he probably doesn't know what a balloon is.
Well, no, sure. I'm just saying, like, all the names he could have been. Still, he doesn't know what a balloon is, but there are Collins in space.
I mean, there's obviously Mitches in space, so why not a Colin?
Fair point. I just wonder if there's a Colin Firth in space or something.
I have no idea.
Anyway.
I mean, Mitch is British, and so maybe there is a British Colin Firth out there in space.
All right, so very clearly we have Doofenshmirtz's name written on the balloon. That's a birthmark. A birthmark, you idiot! It's a balloon.
But then but at the same time, he also expects the balloon to come with him when he says, "Come on, Balloony."
He doesn't.
Because it's a balloon.
He's picked the side.
You've changed, Balloony.
Imagine that scene from SpongeBob.
And to think you were backstory worthy.
That's what I'm saying. That's a funny joke, but that's a joke that signifies, yeah, we know where we're going with this, but we had fun with it.
Yeah, and then Perry just knocks him out of the ship.
I got a real friend, Perry the Platinum. Whoa!
Hello! Falling to my doom here! Like Perry just knocks him and we don't see them for the rest of the episode.
And we have another sci-fi reference, which I don't know if it was a missed opportunity or what, it was a network thing, but they get away from him, Mitch. They wanted to say get away from him, you Mitch.
Yep. Yeah, reference to aliens.
Would have been great.
Yeah, I love aliens, and when I saw that, I was like, ah!
Yeah, they almost said it.
Yep. Get away from him, Mitch.
Yep. So then they essentially we reveal Mitch was up against Stitch. Oh God, it rhymes. So we have this, with Meap essentially being the Stitch role here. They get into a big old tissy and fight, and he's like blasting with rainbows. Also, we had the
I love Mitch's entire personality, just like how he's just like nobody's like taking him seriously, and just like you're gonna check dirt back into the corridor. Ah. and as you were saying, I'm sorry.
Isabella, we have the big payoff with her with the cute meter.
Yeah, but basically, throughout the entire episode, like she's been trying to convince Phineas that she's the cause of the cute tracker with her trying to track Meap with, that she was the cause of the interference, but Phineas kept saying, "Oh no, you're not the cause," and basically kept acting like his usual oblivious self.
Oh yeah.
Only for him to reveal he took her into account when programming it, and when he sets it back to normal, it overloads.
Should have said "Are you happy, Isabella? Now we're doomed."
Well, at that point, they already knew where Meap was.
That's true.
So it's so she should be happy. She should be happy that.
See, Isabella, you're validated. You happy now? Everyone thinks you're pretty. You happy now?
Yeah, one of the few times you actually see her get angry.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right, so then we have the we have the reveal after Mitch is disposed of. We remove his mustache.
Yep. After Candace helps Meap escape, and actually, I get it. You can stop acting in a way superficially. Counterintuitive to how you superficially appear. We get it. And then I'm a universal mustache translator. Me. Yep. He's a Meap.
So we learned that Meap is a fellow buster. He's basically leads to the whole judge a book by its cover message that Mitch pretty much spelled out for us.
Apparently, Richard's victims in Code Geass have apparently created a fanfic just now. So they want us to read that. Do you want us to get on with it, or do you want us to do that after we finish the episode?
It's if you can keep track of it, let's just do it after the episode.
Okay. Meap puts the mustache back on himself and speaks with the normal voice of Lorenzo Lamas.
Yep.
And reveals himself to be an intergalactic security agent who busts people who do stuff they're not supposed to do.
Kindred spirits.
Yep. Kindred spirit in Candace and some friends in Phineas, Ferb, and Isabella.
Yep.
So everything worked out for Meap and the boys. Mitch is going into justice. And Candace learned her lesson never to judge a book by its cover ever again.
Then we end on a mother-in-law joke.
Yeah, it's like this giant green slime
gelatinous monster.
Yeah, it's like giant alien monster, get to the ship.
That's my mother-in-law, but she's absolutely right. Let's get to the ship.
It's like, actually, that's my mother-in-law, so yeah, she's correct. Yeah, I know it's like the standard mother-in-law joke, but it's funny.
So we have the fake sequel post-credit gag with it's very freakazoid or more so it's like that recap they did on that one episode of Family Guy. You remember the thin? I think it's the thin white line.
Yeah, remind me of that one. I mean, I think I know what you're talking about. The one where Brian becomes a cop, right?
Yeah, he became a TSA guy, but yeah, he became a TSA agent, and he basically a drug dog. And he became addicted to cocaine, and it was like a cliffhanger. I'm going to Hollywood, and of course we start off, and we have this big things that do not track at all with what happened. It's big Hollywood kind of movie, sort of big dramatic cliffhanger parody stuff. So we're kind of doing that here for we're sequelizing things. Meapless in Seattle.
All right. So you're saying, Victor Dragon, would you be interested in seeing Meapless in Seattle?
Yes.
Well, good news. It was originally the thing is, it was originally planned. It was planned to be a joke, but people kept asking if it was going to get people. They were intending it for to be a joke, but in 2010 they revealed that due to fan demand and everything like that, they put the official episode into production. They officially started making Meapless in Seattle.
Wait, so they actually made a sequel?
Yes.
Crazy.
They made it, and obviously it's in season 3. And as you can imagine, due to the fact that they weren't initially intending to make the episode in the first place, you can tell a lot of the scenes they obviously make jokes, obviously joking about their episodes, the placement in the episode and everything. But so yes, technically they did eventually make Meapless in Seattle.
Crazy.
Yes, crazy.
Cuckoo Cachoo.
Cuckoo Cachoo. I am the walrus.
Oh yeah.
That non sequitur out of the way.
Yeah.
Apparently how this goes, it's the day Candace finally proves her little brothers are godlike engineers and inventors that can build a time machine where fun will be a great day. Candace is the hero that Tri-State deserves and not the one it needs. Candace is the only one that knows her brothers can be Oppenheimer if they wanted to. That's why she tries so hard to bust them. She knows these boys need to be stopped before they get too powerful.
They're going to end the world. More so, they're going to end the show. They're going to have a reboot of sorts.
A gritty reboot.
Yeah. There's Jacob, I think our audience is writing the gritty reboot for us this episode.
Yeah, surprisingly, we didn't even have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Gabriel Candace is the misunderstood hero. I am Ferb, destroyer of worlds. Ferb, I know we're gonna blow up today. I know we're gonna do today. Create a bomb more powerful than the nuclear bomb.
It'll be a whole new arms race, Ferb.
Mom, Phineas and Ferb are blowing up the tri-state area.
Of course, the sad thing is, she'll say that, and she won't believe her then it's actually going to get blown up. But she'll just be a thing where, there'll be test sites and everything, but she'll never know until it's too late.
I'm kind of reminded of that scene from T2.
A little bit.
I can just imagine where Candace is, shaking, the fence, I told you they were doing this! And then when the bomb comes and you just see your skeleton remaining in the nuclear blast, see, I told you!
Isabella, what'd you do? Oh, holy cow, what's that?
I think you should read that, okay? Major Perry, your owner, Agent P, your owners are blowing up the tri-state area. However, it's not related to Doofenshmirtz, so don't worry.
Okay, that's absolutely on brand. I buy that.
Perry, he can't talk.
I like that Richard's Victims clarified that for us.
Yes. Imagine Cillian Murphy as an adult Phineas.
Give him a red wig.
For the longest time, I thought his name would be pronounced Cillian.
I know. See, I wish it was Cillian because it's a fun name, but it's Cillian.
I mean, Cillian's still a pretty cool name.
Yeah, it's fine. I know it's Kill a Man, but come on.
Kill a Man Murphy.
Kill a Man Murphy.
Ironically enough, considering the creator's next show.
Oh yeah.
You know what their next show is after this, right, Dragon?
What is their next show after this?
Milo Murphy's Law.
That tracks.
Yeah. Yep. So, funnily enough.
Yep.
So yeah, we didn't even have to do a gritty reboot this time. They pretty much created an alternative.
We left a little space, and they blew it all to Kingdom Come.
Yes. and trust me, this isn't the last time they go to space. Even in the next episode, even not counting the next episode, Meapless in Seattle, they still go to space a couple more times. So there's more stuff to do. So overall, Dragon, thoughts on the episode?
I mean, it's fun. Again, I still have gripes with how our plots intersect versus how they usually intersect, but it's a fun one. It's nice, and the Meap stuff, so a lot of fun. I'm not one to poo-poo a good mustache gag.
I mean, the mustache gags even get upped in the next episode in Meapless in Seattle.
I do like kind of our Freakazoid-esque framing device, with the whole, the opening, the kind of the tease at episode 2, which was a joke that ended up being real, apparently.
Yeah, well, like I said, they didn't plan for it to be real, but fan demand led them to making it.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, we have Don LaFontaine in here. Mm-hmm. And, of course, one of the, an iconic moment iconic moment with my ride from outer space.
Oh, I love that. Oh yeah,
It's like that moment is considered iconic.
indeed.
It's like one of Ferb's defining moments in the entire show. Like one of the few times like he's actually just been by himself in such a way, and it's amazing. So I think that does it for this week. What do you think, Dragon?
I think so.
All right, thank you, Code Geass and Renter's Victims for your comments. Thank you, and thank you all for watching, and join us next time on the Phineas and Ferb Recap-inator, where the boys go up against some familiar-looking rivals, then try to one-up a famous aviator. Meanwhile, Doofenshmirtz plays kickball, then goes green. Good night, everybody. In a world.
In a world.
There.